Good day, Junior Techies. This is Mrs. DeMolon speaking, and today we're going to look at Activity 3, Salaries and Wages Journals. So we're going to take the basic calculations that we did in the previous activity, or do similar calculations, and then apply and fill it into a salaries journal. So if we look at Activity 3, it says complete the salaries journal of JT Traders for August, and then they give us the basic salary information for Conradi, Klope and Bernardi. They give us the per annum salaries, but we need monthly, so we're going to have to take that per annum amounts and divide it by 12. They already give us the monthly pay-as-you-earn deduction, so that's your SARS tax, monthly tax deduction, and they give us the monthly medical aid deduction. Then they say complete the wages journal for the week ending 26th of August. Now this is important because technically we have a wage journal for every week. So you're going to have 4 weeks in a month, so 4 wage journals. And they give us the wages for Wemba, Masters and Veyers. They give us the rate, normal hours, overtime hours that they work, and then their pay as you earn, their taxes, and then their medical aid per month. Yet again, the per month most likely we're going to have to deduct weekly, so divide by 4. Let's look at the salaries journal step by step. So, first the additional information. They say all employees pay 10% of their basic salaries or wages towards Momentum Pension Fund. The employer contributes R2.50 for every R1 contributed by the employee. So deduction is 10%. Contribution is 2.5 times that. Then all employees belong to SARS Medical or Star Med Medical Aid. Employer contributes a rand-to-rand basis, and then the wage earner contributes and deductions or deducted weekly. So we're going to have to take their medical aid and divide by 4 because we want 1 week's worth. All employees pay 30 rand towards union fees. Klope receives a bonus in August as it is his birthday month. His bonus is calculated as 75% of his basic salary, and then additional taxes on that is 2,650. SARS always takes their cut. So all wage employees work 8 hours a day over a 5-day week, so that is their sort of normal hours, and everything above that will be their overtime. Mr. Veyers was absent, or M. Veyers was absent 1 day in the week, and the workers are employed on a no work, no pay basis unless they can supply a sick note. No sick note was received, so we have to deduct 1 day of pay from M. Veyers. And then finally, the overtime rate of wages for wages workers is calculated at 1.5 times the normal rate. So you're going to have to take the normal rate hours times 1.5 to get your rand value for your overtime. And then the business makes UIF and skills development contributions as stipulated by law. So 1% for UIF and skills development must be calculated. So this is sort of how we calculate these things. So let's look at how we enter it into the salaries journal. So the first guy, Conradi, we have to take his yearly salary of 290,590 divide by 12 gives us a monthly salary. And if you noted, they said please round up to the nearest whole number. So we get 24,215 rand 83 cents, but we round up, and so we record 24,216 rand. Conradi did not get a bonus, so the total gross salary stays the same, 24,216. Now we look at deductions according to the additional information. They've already given us the pay as you earn, so that's just copy paste. So 5,623 according what they gave us in the information. Then when it comes to pension, they say that Conradi will pay 10% towards his pension fund. So we take the monthly salary of 24,215 rand 83 cents times 10 over 100 gives us 2,421.58 cents. So round up gives us 2,422 cents. So that's the pension. And then they say the pension is R2.50 for every R1. So you're going to take your 2,422 Rand times 2.5. That gives us 6,055 Rand. That will be contributed by the employer. Medical aid is given to us, 1,300 Rand, and they say Rand to Rand, so it's 1-to-1, same amount will be contributed, 1,300. UIF, we know by now that that is 1%. So if we calculate 1% for UIF, that's 242 Rand 16 cents, around 242 Rand for UIF and skills development levy. So all of that will be 242 Rand. And then union fees was 30 Rand. To get your total deductions, you're going to just add all your deductions together. So pay as you earn plus pension plus medical plus UIF plus union funds gives us a total deduction of 9,617 Rand. To get your net salary, then you're going to take your gross salary minus your deductions and get your net salary of 14,599 Rand. So that is the salary recorded for Conradi in the journal. Now we do the same for the next person. So Klope has a basic salary of 19,628 Rand after we've divided his yearly salary by 12. He also received a bonus. So that's 75% of his final or of his basic salary. So you can, how did we get the 14,721 Rand? It's 75% of the 19,628 Rand. And you add it together to get the 34,349 Rand for total gross salary. Then pay as you earn, there's a standard pay as you earn on the 19,000, but there's also taxes on the 14,000. So you have to add those together. So the monthly SARS is 3,710 plus the bonus SARS of 2,650 gives you a total tax deduction of 6,360 Rand. Then pension, yet again 10% of the basic salary, so be very careful. It's 10% of the 19,628 Rand, not including the bonus. He doesn't pay pension on his bonus. So that's how I get the 1,963 Rand. That's the 10% of the 19,628 Rand. And then to get to the pension contribution of the 4,908 Rand, you times the 1,963 times 2.5 gives you that 4,908 Rand. Medical aid deduction was given to us as 1,000 Rand, and it's 1-to-1, so the contribution is also 1,000 Rand. Now, your UIF, it's 1% of basic salary, so yet again 1% of the 19,628, so that is how we get 196 Rand for UIF and skills development levy. Union funds was just 30 Rand. And then to get total deductions, yet again, you add all of your deductions together and you get 9,449 Rand. How do we get net salary now? You take your gross salary minus your total deductions. So the 34,349 Rand minus 9,449 gives you 24,900 Rand net salary. And then the last person, Bernardi, he earns a monthly salary of 9,146 Rand. Yet again, it's a per annum salary divided by 12. He didn't get a bonus, so the gross salary stays the same. They gave us the pay as you earn of 2,588 Rand. Now, yet again, how do we get the pension? It's 10% of the basic salary. So 10% of 9,146 Rand gives us 915 Rand if you round up. And then the 915 Rand times 2.5 gives you the 2,288 Rand. Medical aid deduction is given 900 Rand and the contribution is the same, so copy paste. Then UIF, 1% of your total basic salary. So 1% of 9,146 Rand is 91 Rand if you round it. So that will be your UIF and skills development. He also pays a union fee of 30 Rand. So Bernardi's total deductions, adding your pay as you earn, pension fund, medical aid, UIF and union fund together, is 4,524 Rand. Minus it from your gross salary gives you your net salary of 4,621 Rand. And that is basically your salaries journal. And all you need to do is total down and get your final totals. And the final totals is what we will post to the general ledger, but that will be explained in the next activity. So we won't post individual amounts here. We will post totals like we usually do from a journal. Then the next journal is the wages journal. Now it looks very similar to the salaries journal, except that now, because there's a basic wage and overtime rates, we have to sort of split basic wages and overtime and to get gross wages. Then we have our deductions, total deductions minus gross is your net wage, and then we look at the contributions as well. But we use the same formulas or same additional information percentages to calculate these things. So the first person, Wemba, so to get your basic wage, they tell us the basic wage for Wemba per hour is 45 Rand. They work 8 hours per week, 5 days a week, so 1,800 Rand. Wemba worked 10 hours overtime. The overtime rate says 1.5 times normal rate. So the normal rate is 45 Rand. So times 1.5 gives us 68 Rand overtime per hour. And then the 10 times 68 gives us a total of 680 Rand overtime. To get the total gross, you're going to have to just add the basic wage and the overtime together. And we get 2,480 Rand gross wage. They've already calculated the pay as you earn. So the pay as you earn is then normal, straightforward, 225 Rand. And then pension fund, yet again, is 10% of basic. So now we do not include the overtime. We just look at the basic wages. So 1,800 times 10% gives us 180 Rand. So that's how I get the 180 there. And the same applies. 2.5 times will be contributed. So 180 times 2.5 gives us the 450 Rand for the pension contribution. Medical aid is 500 Rand per month, but we have to divide it by 4 to get the per week amount. And so therefore 125 Rand per week is deducted. And it's Rand to Rand contribution. So 125 is contributed per week. UIF is 1% of basic wage. So yet again, basic wage is the 1,800. So that's why I say 1,800 times 1 over 100 gives us 18 Rand. And that will be your UIF and your skills development deduction for UIF, contribution for UIF, and skills development levy is also 1%. Your union fund, yet again, is 30 Rand, but we deduct it weekly. So divide by 4 gives us 8 Rand, so we round up. And then your total deductions, yet again, just add all of your deductions together. So the pay as you earn plus your pension fund plus your medical aid plus UIF plus union funds gives us 586 Rand. To get your net wages, you have to take your gross salary minus your deductions. And that gives us a net wage per week of 1,894 Rand for Wemba. Then the next person, masters, is literally exactly or more or less the same in terms of calculations. So 1,800 Rand, basic wage, also 10 hours, and all of it is then copy paste the same. And then, so masters and Wemba, by coincidence, actually worked out exactly the same for the month. Sorry about the typo there for the basic salary. So it is exactly the same by coincidence that they work the same weekly, or they get the same rate, or they work the same overtime, so the calculations remain the same. Then the last, Mr. Veyers, remember that he or she only gets 30 Rand per hour, but only worked for 4 days because there was a sick day that she couldn't prove with a doctor's note, so we had to deduct 1 day's pay. So that is why we say times 4 days only, because there was one sick day, so that's 960 Rand. She worked overtime 5 hours, so now her rate is 1.5 times her normal rate. So 30 Rand times 1.5 gives us 45 Rand as her overtime rate. So 5 times 45 gives us 225 Rand as overtime. So we add that to get our gross wages is the 960 plus the 225, which is 1,185. Then her pay as you earn was given 74 Rand. Pension, remember now on her basic wage. So basic wage is 960 times 10%, which is then 96 Rand. And then 2.5% of that will then literally be the 2.5 times 96 gives us a 240 Rand pension contribution. Medical aid is the 360 Rand that she contributes per month divided by 4, which gives us 90 Rand. And that is same for the contribution. UIF, 1% of her basic salary. So 1% is 9.60 Rand. So if you round up, it's 10 Rand for UIF and skills development contribution as well as deductions. And then she also pays union fees. So total deductions is the 278 Rand to get her net wage of 907 Rand. And how did I get that? The gross wage minus total deductions gives you net wage. And then what do we need to do? You need to just add up. And then eventually when we post, yet again, we will post the final totals, the black ones, into the general ledger at the end of each week for the wage journal. So the difference between a salary journal and a wage journal is salary journal, first of all, is a fixed amount per month, not a per hour rate, and usually not paid overtime, monthly expense. Where wages, weekly expense, which includes overtime rates, etc. But the deductions and the contribution calculations stay the same. Right, so next activity is cash payments journal and posting to the general ledger. So now we look at what does payday actually look like in the general ledger and the cash payments journal. So that will be our next activity. Thank you and goodbye from Mrs. de Mailon.